In 2025, Canada, once the land of endless promise, is witnessing something no one expected. Thousands of skilled immigrants, students, and even long-time residents are packing up and leaving. From Toronto's packed condos to Vancouver's sky-high rents and Calgary's quiet neighborhoods, people are saying, "We can't do this anymore." The country that was once a dream destination for opportunity and peace of mind now feels out of reach for many. But what changed? Is the Canadian dream starting to crumble under its own weight? Or are people simply redefining what a better life means? In this video, we'll uncover the real reasons behind this surprising exodus, backed by facts, stories, and voices from across Canada. Number 1. Rising cost of living and housing crisis. Imagine paying over $2,800 a month for a one-bedroom apartment in downtown Vancouver, and that's before groceries, gas, or internet. In Toronto, the story isn't much different. Rent prices have climbed nearly 20% in just the last year, and in places like Mississauga, families are now spending more than half their income just to keep a roof over their heads. Grocery bills have doubled compared to pre-pandemic years, and utility costs keep rising quietly in the background. For many, it feels like no matter how hard they work, the math just doesn't add up anymore. Skilled immigrants who arrived with savings and big dreams are now dipping into emergency funds just to survive. Families that once thought they'd buy a modest home now realize that even a small townhouse is priced beyond reach, with average listings soaring above $1 million in major cities. Some are giving up entirely, selling what they have and relocating to more affordable regions like Calgary or Edmonton, where the cost of living still feels human. But even there, prices are starting to climb as the migration continues west. You'll hear stories of newcomers sharing basement apartments with 2 or 3 other families, professionals driving Uber after work to cover rent, and students skipping meals to save money. For many, the goal isn't luxury anymore, it's simply survival, and that's what makes this shift so striking. People didn't come to Canada for extravagance, they came for stability, a fair chance, and a place to build a life. Yet in 2025, that promise is slipping through their fingers, one bill at a time. Number 2. Job market reality versus expectations. When newcomers land in Toronto, Ottawa, or Montreal, they often arrive with impressive qualifications: engineers, doctors, IT professionals, architects, people who left stable careers back home believing Canada would value their skills. But the reality in 2025 tells a different story. Despite labor shortages and job vacancies across sectors, many skilled immigrants find themselves stuck in low-paying or unrelated jobs because their international degrees aren't recognized. The result? An engineer driving for Uber, a nurse working as a cashier, or a teacher delivering food to pay rent. According to recent 2024-2025 labor market surveys, nearly 60% of new immigrants say they're underemployed or working below their qualification level. The problem isn't a lack of education or ambition. As one economist put it, it's not a lack of talent, it's a lack of opportunity alignment. Many professionals spend years trying to get their credentials approved, facing endless paperwork, unpaid internships, or expensive licensing exams that make it almost impossible to restart their careers. Meanwhile, countries like Texas, Dubai, and the UK are actively recruiting these same workers, offering faster recognition processes and competitive pay. It's a painful irony. The very people Canada says it needs most are the ones leaving. In cities like Toronto, you'll find entire communities of highly educated individuals working survival jobs, trapped in a cycle that drains both their finances and confidence. The disappointment runs deep. For many, it's not just professional frustration, it's personal heartbreak. They came chasing opportunity, but found a system that values bureaucracy over ability. And slowly, quietly, they're choosing to take their talent somewhere it's recognized, respected, and rewarded. Number 3. Student struggles and policy changes. In 2025, international students, once seen as the backbone of Canada's education system, are beginning to lose hope. In cities like Brampton, Surrey, and Winnipeg, the frustration is everywhere. Tuition fees for international students have soared to 3 to 4 times what domestic students pay, with some programs now costing over $40,000 a year. At the same time, new work-hour restrictions and post-graduation visa uncertainties have made survival even harder. Imagine studying full-time, paying huge tuition, working part-time to afford rent, and then realizing your future in Canada isn't guaranteed. For many, that's the heartbreaking reality. Students who once dreamed of permanent residency now find themselves stuck in a maze of changing immigration rules and unpredictable policies. Many have finished their degrees only to pack up and leave, not because they want to, but because the system leaves them no clear path forward. On social media, especially in Brampton, you'll find hundreds of videos and posts of students expressing their frustration and burnout, some even saying they'd rather restart their lives in Europe or Australia, where education to PR pathways are more stable. The mental health impact is undeniable. According to recent campus surveys, stress and anxiety levels among international students are at their highest in a decade, with many reporting feelings of isolation, financial exhaustion, and uncertainty about the future. The promise of Canadian education, once a symbol of opportunity and global respect, now feels, to many, like a debt trap. Behind every smiling graduation photo is a story of sleepless nights, unpaid bills, and silent doubt. For thousands of students, the dream of building a future in Canada is slipping away, not because they failed, but because the system failed them. Number 4. Tax pressure and quality of life. Across Calgary, Edmonton, and Halifax, even Canadians with stable, well-paying jobs are beginning to feel the squeeze. Rising taxes, fuel prices, and everyday expenses have quietly eroded what used to be considered a comfortable middle-class lifestyle. A software engineer earning $90,000 a year or a nurse working overtime shifts should, in theory, be thriving, but most say their disposable income has nearly vanished. After taxes, rent or mortgage payments, childcare, and utilities, there's often little to no room left to save or enjoy life. As one economist put it, for many mid-career professionals, the math simply doesn't add up. They're earning well but saving nothing. Fuel costs have surged beyond affordability in some regions, pushing even daily commutes into the luxury category. Meanwhile, the promise of Canada's generous public services feels increasingly hollow. Healthcare wait times are longer, daycare spots are scarce, and many families find themselves paying privately for what was once public. The result? A growing sense of disillusionment among the middle class. In Calgary and Edmonton, families are beginning to downsize or move to smaller rural communities to escape urban expenses. In Halifax, professionals are looking overseas for work opportunities that offer lower taxes and higher quality of life, places where they can work less, save more, and spend time with family instead of juggling bills. The irony is painful. People aren't leaving because they dislike Canada, but because they can no longer afford the version of life they came here to build. The dream of a simple, balanced lifestyle, once Canada's biggest selling point, now feels like a privilege slipping further out of reach for the very people keeping the economy alive. Number 5. Shifting values. Quality of life over location. By 2025, something deeper than economics is driving the movement out of Canada. It's a shift in mindset. More and more people are realizing that success isn't defined by where you live, but by how you live. After years of financial pressure, long winters, and endless hustle, Canadians, both locals and immigrants, are beginning to prioritize mental peace, flexibility, and affordability over geography or prestige. Families are asking themselves hard questions. Is the stress worth it? Is stability really stability if it comes at the cost of happiness? This new perspective is sending waves of professionals, retirees, and young families to destinations like Portugal, Dubai, Germany, and the United States, particularly Texas and Florida. These places offer lower taxes, more sunshine, and a lifestyle that feels freer and more balanced. Remote work has also opened new doors. People no longer need to be tied to one city or country to build a career. As one relocation expert put it, people aren't leaving Canada, they're chasing balance. It's not just about money, it's about time with family, sunlight, and the freedom from constant financial anxiety. In the past, moving abroad might have felt like giving up, but now, for many, it feels like taking control. Canadians who once believed this is the best it gets are realizing there are places where they can work less, live more comfortably, and feel more human. It's not rebellion, it's redefinition. The new dream isn't about a big house in Toronto or a downtown job in Vancouver. It's about waking up without worry, walking in the sun, and finally feeling that life makes sense again. Number 6. Is Canada still worth it? So with all these challenges, from rising costs to job struggles and shifting priorities, one question remains. Is Canada still worth it? The honest answer isn't black and white. Canada still stands tall in many ways. It remains one of the safest, most diverse, and politically stable countries in the world. Its education system is respected globally. Healthcare, though strained, still offers essential care for all. And the sense of community and inclusion is something few nations can replicate. For many, these are reasons enough to stay and fight through the difficulties. But the reality is, stability doesn't feel the same anymore. When people are working harder but living smaller, when safety comes at the cost of affordability, and when opportunity feels reserved for a lucky few, it's natural to question the dream. Ignoring these challenges won't make them disappear. If anything, they'll continue to drive away the very people who helped build Canada's success story. This is not about giving up on the country. It's about acknowledging what's broken and what needs to change. Maybe Canada doesn't need to be abandoned. Maybe it needs to be reimagined. And that's the crossroads where many find themselves today. If you had to start over with the same knowledge, same goals, and same determination, would you still choose Canada? Or would you look for a place that values not just your work, but your well-being too? The answer to that question might reveal more about the future of Canada than any policy ever could. Leaving Canada doesn't always mean giving up. Sometimes it means choosing a life that actually works.